Hi all, I'm Tramley Jones, this year's Pipeline Conference, or TPC chair. It's been so amazing to be back in person again and to be in the same room with so many great colleagues, friends, and overall with so many absurdly talented people like yourselves. It really warms my heart to be here, and I hope you guys have had a wonderful day and session and watching all the sessions. Before we get started with the Pipeline Awards, I wanted to take a quick step back and set the stage for what it is. It began in 2014 with Shotgun Software as a way to recognize and honor the people who have written tools that support the pipeline community and what we do and support the community itself. They typically announce their awards at the user group meetings and at SIGGRAPH or at the exhibit booth. When TPC kicked off in 2019, they handed the torch to us to, rewind that. The Pipeline Awards handed the torch over to TPC to continue the tradition because it only made sense for the Pipeline Awards to live with the Pipeline Conference. Well, the first year that the Pipeline Awards ran under TPC was 2020, so you all know how that went. So this is actually our very first year as TPC to host the Pipeline Awards in person. Our Pipeline Awards committee keeps things under wraps, similarly to how it was run before, and our non-award committee members are not generally involved. And speaking of our awards committee, I also want to say a special thank you to them, Daniel Lanner, Alan Rose, Ryan Botriel, and Den Saris. Your work to keep the awards alive have not gone unnoticed. And of course, to our TPC Pipeline Awards Chair, Zoe Glynn, who led the charge and made sure it happened. It wasn't easy, but we made it. So without further ado, I will let Zoe make the introductions to this year's awards. What do you do, Zoe?
Hi, everyone. So glad to be with you all here today. There are 2 awards that will be announced. First is the Tool Award, which is given to the tool worthy of industry recognition and benefits more than one studio. And second is our Hero Award, which honors a person in our pipeline community whose contributions helped push us forward and made us better for it. This year's TPC Tool Award was a multi-year effort, with version 1 being released in 2011. In 2017, development for version 2 was started, and by January of 2021, 2.0 was released and considered feature complete. Notable features of this release are new, faster, and more accurate CPU and GPU rendering capabilities, built-in ASIS support, and more configuration control over how color spaces appear in applications, though it doesn't stop here. This tool has been integrated into most core VFX and animation industry software toolsets, providing a standardized and modern approach for color management, as well as a straightforward and consistent user experience across all supporting applications. We'd like to present this award to ASWF's OpenColorIO core contributors, Carol Payne, Michael Dolan, Patrick Hodoul, Thomas Mansencal, and Doug Walker.
OpenColorIO provides a standardized approach to color management for film, TV, and game pipelines. With OCIO, a developer can define the color pipeline once in a single configuration file and deploy it across a wide variety of applications and tools. OCIO has been used on countless projects over the past dozen years and is integrated into most core VFX and animation industry software tools.
The OpenColorIO project began at Sony Pictures Imageworks, with development led by Jeremy Seelan. Version 1 was released in 2011 and quickly caught on among visual effects studios and ECC applications. HP Diker led the development of a config file for ASIS with the help of color scientists from the Academy and leading VFX studios. This combination of OCIO and ASIS had a huge impact on color management in the VFX industry, with ASIS defining the color transforms and OCIO providing a way to deploy them across many applications consistently.
Despite the success, the project went through a period of no development between 2014 and 2016. In early 2017, Eric Bork, Gordon Bradley, Steve McNeil, and Doug Walker from Autodesk reached out to ImageWorks, and with the help of Larry Gritz, Sean Cooper, and Eric Strauss, we put together a plan which we presented at SIGGRAPH 2017 for an ambitious new version of OpenColor.io. The community responded enthusiastically, and the first step was to form an OCIO version 2 working group with color scientists from ILM, Framestore, Weta, ImageWorks, the Academy, ARRI, and others. Ray Feeney and David Marin provided wise counsel and lots of encouragement. Autodesk agreed to staff the project, and for the next 3 years, Doug Walker, Patrick Hodoul, and Bernard Lefebvre re-engineered the core library and added new features. Michael Dolan led the effort from the ImageWorks side, and he contributed new Python bindings, the CI system, managed code reviews, and many other tasks.
During this period, the Academy Software Foundation was formed, and in February of 2019, OCIO became the second project accepted into the foundation. With the help of Larry and Michael at ImageWorks, and John Murtick, Emily Olin, and others from the Linux Foundation, OpenColor.io was relaunched as an ASWF project. A technical steering committee was formed with representatives from the studios, including color experts such as Kevin Wheatley and Mark Borer, who have been contributing to the project for many years. The process of finishing all the ASWF requirements for full adoption was completed later that year.
OCIO V2 debuted at SIGGRAPH 2020 and was included in the 2021 VFX reference platform. Among the many new features, the new CPU and GPU rendering engines are faster and more accurate. There is built-in ACES support, and config authors have more control over how color spaces appear in applications. There's also 10 times more unit tests, which combined with the cross-platform CI build system, make the project more reliable.
Carol Payne led the effort to redo the documentation and website. Mario Rokicki contributed a cool refresh of the logo. Michael Dolan and Mark Titchener led a user experience working group, and Thomas Mansencal, Carol, and Michael led the effort to develop brand new ACES configs that take advantage of the new features of OCIO V2 to have improved accuracy, more compact size, and enhanced usability. Thomas had previously been maintaining and updating the OCIO V1 ACES configs, and this experience helped in writing a completely new config generator. Earlier this year, Carol succeeded Michael as the chairperson and serves as the ASWF TAC representative. Remy Achard from DNEG is our newest TSC member and someone who brings a wealth of OCIO experience and has contributed many new features, including the Python package installer support, which was one of the most popular features in OCIO 2.1. And Cedric Foucault is a new contributor from Autodesk working on OCIO 2.2.
We've learned that it takes a lot of work to just keep the lights on for a widely adopted open source project, let alone add ambitious new features. However, it's been a great and rewarding experience so far. We hope that we've upgraded the code and helped position the project to make it more sustainable over the long term. But the development hours are not free, and so we want to recognize the support of Autodesk, Netflix, Epic, Weta, ImageWorks, and all the other companies that are funding their engineers to contribute. And we'd love you to participate. Please join our Slack, attend our meetings, offer feedback, or contribute code.
On behalf of all the people who have contributed code to OpenColor.io over the years, we are thrilled and honored to accept this award from the Pipeline Conference.
Amazing. Thank you, Doug and Carol, accepting on behalf of OCIO. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Just thanks. I don't think so.
And if you want to hear more about some other great open source projects, please check out ASWF's Open Source Days tomorrow and Tuesday as part of SIGGRAPH. Thanks, everyone.
Amazing work, and truly deserved. If you'd like to find out more, we'll be updating this session in the Hoover app with links to videos and documentation so it's easy to access. And last but not least, we have our Pipeline Hero Award. It has never been clearer that community-driven events like these are willed into existence and sustained through efforts of extraordinarily dedicated people. So this year's Pipeline Hero has improved people's experience working on VFX, animation, and post-production projects for over 2 decades. She has built and supported forums for community interaction, incubation, and sharing of ideas. And crucially, her active organization supported both DigiPro and the Pipeline Conference since the pandemic by coordinating efforts and driving the adoption of a virtual conferencing platform, which has given us a whole new channel upon which to welcome participants. So earlier this week, I was delighted to surprise this year's Pipeline Hero with the decision of the Pipeline Conference Awards Committee. Congratulations go to Tram Le-Jones.
Thank you. And all right, I'm gonna try to calm my nerves here. 300 some odd people look way bigger than I remember in my head because we've been in virtual land for way too long. I honestly don't really know what to say or where to begin. I guess the Pipeline Conference is something that I became involved in as an extension of co-founding the LA Pipeline Group in 2013. And so to my LA Pipeline friends, I am so sorry that we haven't had any events, nearly as many as we'd like. But I also know I wasn't alone in feeling like it was just so hard to keep up with it all. And that's what makes this year even more special. All of the volunteers and the Pipeline Conference Committee are doing this out of a labor of love, all while we are overemployed, because there's so much work out there, while we are relearning how to flex those social muscles again as we do things in person, as well as trying to keep ourselves, friends, family, and loved ones safe from illness. This reminds me of something my amazing husband, Andy Jones, said to me before the pandemic that I think is super applicable today. Every pipeline tool you write ends up being another tool, another rock that you add to your backpack that you carry around. And so the more tools you have, the more rocks you carry in that backpack, and it gets heavy. That same analogy could be said for the pandemic, for the transgression from 2020 to 2021 to 2022. We are all adding those emotional rocks to our backpacks, and we're carrying it around year after year. And I know I say this every year, and we all do. I am so done with 2022, and we're barely halfway through. Or we're halfway through? What? It's August, that's right. At the same time, I know I'm not alone, and that's what a team is. We support each other to help deliver on our mission, and ours is getting the Pipeline Conference done. Many additional nights and hours were spent ensuring that we dot our I's and cross our T's. Thank you to my 4-year-old twins, Clayton and Tallulah, for not waking up in the middle of the night and during those meetings. Also, as a shameless plug, if you're interested in deepening your commitment to the Pipeline community as well, come join our amazing team next year. Hopefully it will be in person. I also wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for all the inspirational work of the Pipeline TDs out there, making productions run faster and smoother. As an ex-producer, you really are who are my heroes. How many times you've saved my projects, for sure. I'm your biggest fan and supporter, and all I can say is I will continue to advocate for you. I also want to give a shout out to F-Track, who brought me on board last year. They handed me the reins of the integrations team, and I'll say that was one of the most exciting things about the role, both then and now. There's still a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm pretty excited for our future. And I mean, I'm not saying that the rest of the teams at F-Track aren't great too. You guys are awesome. But being a part of something that can drive how our industry works, whether it's through F-Track, through these meetups, through TPC, also helps us become more efficient and it just feels pretty darn good. I hope that together as the Pipeline community, we build and share tools that help optimize workflows, allowing everyone to have a little bit more time in their day, either to perfect their craft and render another version, or go home and read your kid an extra bedtime story. So thank you.